good evening. A dentist from Birmingham has been found guilty of defrauding the NHS of nearly £1.4 million.
Dr. Joyce Trail, who practices in Handsworth, made thousands of claims between 2006 and 2009 for work she never actually did. Her daughter was also found guilty of conspiring in the fraud, but her sister, who works at the same practice, was cleared. Callum Watkinson reports.
Nairi, have you got for yourself? Guilty Nairi Sterling didn't want to talk about her fraud conviction today. Her companion's views not fit for broadcast. It was her mother, Joyce Trail, who was the mastermind, one of the most prolific thieves in NHS history. £18,000 a year on school fees, frequent Caribbean holidays, designer shoes, expensive jewellery, 2 Lexus cars, and the mortgage on this rather nice detached house, £5,000 a month. That's how Joyce Trail was living whilst declaring an income to the Inland Revenue of just under £50,000 a year. Dr. Trail was condemned by a paper trail. When a dentist signs a contract with a PCT, the money is paid up front in monthly instalments. Every NHS job the dentist does goes towards paying off the contract, with patients signing forms as proof the work was done. Joyce Trail's deal with Birmingham and Solihull PCT cluster was for £620,000 a year. So she was paid over £50,000 a month, but instead of doing the work, she simply forged the forms, sometimes using Tipex to change the names. She was so busy in her Handsworth fraud factory that she hardly did any real dentistry at all. Investigators found more than 7,000 false claims over 3 years. 3/4 of all Joyce Trail's NHS claims were fake. The total cost of the fraud was almost £1.4 million. A dentist charges the NHS 12 times for a set of dentures what they would charge for a simple clean and polish. So the more false teeth Joyce Trail pretended to make, the more her false claims were worth. And so she targeted old people's homes, including this one in Sutton Coldfield. She would approach the homes, offer her services, and then submit a veritable production line of false denture claims in the names of the residents. Claims went in for phantom dentures for patients who had their own teeth, patients who hadn't asked for them, patients who paid privately, and on 154 occasions, patients who were dead when Joyce Trail said she was fitting them with dentures. Dentists are supposed to get dentures made in professional labs like this one. The technician sends a docket back to the dentist, who keeps it as proof the work was done. For her imaginary dentures, Trail had to forge these too, by the thousand. Nairi worked at the practice and was responsible for finding new care home business. Joyce's sister Fiona worked there too, but she was cleared of involvement in the fraud. There was an additional charge of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice against the 2 older women, that's Joyce Trail and her sister Fiona. The allegation was that the day after their arrest for fraud in 2009, they had contacted a witness in that fraud prosecution and asked him to lose vital evidence. On that charge, both the women were cleared by the jury. The General Dental Council are conducting their own investigation and are bound to strike Joyce Trail off. Her days of extracting both teeth and money over, she'll soon be getting used to a very different set of bars. Callum Watkinson in Birmingham for Central Tonight.
And Callum joins us now. You've been following this case all the way through, and one of the things that's emerged is it's not the first time that Joyce Trail was investigated for false claims.
No, it wasn't. She was actually wrapped fairly heavily across the knuckles by the PCT as recently as 2004. It was an internal investigation, not a criminal prosecution like this one. And at the end of that, she was found to have overclaimed in exactly this way to the tune of some £320,000. And she actually had to pay all of that money back then.
And is this an isolated case, or is it part of a wider problem?
Well, NHS Protect, which is the external body that investigates fraud for the NHS, put the cost of this kind of dental fraud annually at £73 million each and every year. Now, that's a figure that is disputed by dentists' unions, but when one sees a case like this, one dentist, £1.4 million in 3 years, you do start to wonder if that figure might not be too far off the mark. And the judge did point out in his remarks that the system basically relies on dentists being honest. It's a system of trust, and he said Joyce Trail had effectively stolen a very large amount of money from an NHS that was already overstretched.
OK, Callum, thank you very much.